Hey guys, what's going on? Tad Steege here. Wanted to pose a question to you, something I was kind of curious about, and this is a bit of a continuation of a video I did a couple weeks ago in response to my friend Steve with my old RE teacher. In the video he had asked, what happens to our memories when we die, what happens to our thoughts when we die, and I gave him a video response to that. I want to take that in a bit of a different direction. I'd like to know what your plans are with your body when you die. Now, when we think of the body in the physical form, depending on what you believe, depending on what your culture is, depending on what your religion is, the body is merely just a vessel for the soul and a vessel for the spirit. And when you pass on, that essence, that spirit moves on, and the body remains. Depending on, and each culture has its own burial rituals and its own beliefs and what to do with the body afterwards. I'm firmly of the belief that once you leave the body is gone. Now, what I plan on doing with my body, I don't know. I go back and forth on whether or not I want to be buried or whether or not I want to be cremated. And if I'm cremated, then what do you do with the remains? I mean, it opens up a whole long discussion. On one hand, I think being buried, on one hand, it's a bit creepy because you think about it, your body's rotting and you've got worms and bugs and everything crawling through it. And the thought is absolutely just disgustingly ridiculous to me. But then you have cremation, and a little known Tad Steege secret here, one of my biggest fears is being burnt alive. Now I know I'm an idiot, you're already dead, but what does it matter? But it's the mental image of a body burning to ash that I can't seem to get past. And probably a lot of you thinking, why such a morbid topic, why such a morbid thought process, and it's just something that I'm curious about. I know there are a lot of younger viewers who probably aren't even thinking that far ahead, but it's something you do need to think about because you never know what can happen. You could step off a curb and get hit by a bus and die tomorrow, as they like to say. Also, again, speaking philosophically and speaking of religion, some religions like Catholics, most Catholics are of the opinion that it's a sin to have yourself cremated after you die. Now, I know some Catholics don't adhere to that, and they think of cemeteries as a gigantic waste of real estate, and I tend to agree with that. The other side is, what about the surviving family members? Do you want to give them some place to go to remember you? Like a grave site. And I remember, as a kid, my father going, we would go to family trips to Kentucky. We would go and visit his father's gravesite. There was something just disturbingly but fascinatingly morbid about the whole thing. Going and actually, you're standing over 6 feet above somebody's dead body, and there's just something a bit strange about that, and I'm not sure I would want to put my children through that. I think I would want my children remember me through pictures, remember me through video, remember me things like that. I know some people as survivors need a place to go. I don't necessarily think I need that. My grandfather passed away when I was 17 years old, and they buried him. They had him interred. He was buried in the ground. And I can safely say I have been back in 22 years. I think I've been back 5 times. Now, I think about him all the time. And for me, that's a good enough way to pay respect because I remember the memories that I have of him. I remember the conversations that we had, and I don't necessarily think I need to go to a place to recall those memories or to speak to him if I want to speak to him, universally speaking. If I want to speak to him, I'll speak to him through the universe, if he hears me, he hears me. If not, at least I've done what I feel like I need to do. So I know this is getting a bit long-winded. I'm kind of curious. I'd like to see some video responses to this. What are your plans with your body when you die? Have you thought about it? Do you have a solid plan? Are you going to be buried? Have you already bought plots, or are you planning on having yourselves cremated? And if you're going to have yourself cremated, which I think I may end up doing, are you going to have your ashes put in an urn, or are you going to have them scattered somewhere? The more I think about it, the more I'm liking having my ashes scattered out into the ocean. I think that's probably how I want to go out. I don't know how my kids are going to feel about that when they're older, but yeah, I'd like to see some video responses, and I'd like to know what you guys think. I'm Tad Steege, and I'm out.